Sutton Stracke and assistant Avi Gabay have parted ways. Sutton Stracke is no longer working with Avi Gabay. The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills mom recently confirmed the news on Jeff Lewis Live after the titular host pressed Sutton about her longtime assistant's whereabouts. First one, "Where's Avi?" Jeff Lewis asked. "Oh, I'm going to imagine that Avi's at home," Sutton replied. "In my opinion, Avi is no longer working with me. Now we're still friends. I love Avi. He's like family. But no, he's no longer working with me." Sutton Stracke says she and Avi Gabay haven't spoken in recent months. As Sutton continued to play coy, Jeff and his co-hosts pushed for more details and wondered if the situation between Sutton and Avi simply didn't work out. "Everything was working out," she insisted. "It's just, things evolve, and so he's no longer with me." Sutton said she didn't know if Avi had found another position, as she hadn't really communicated with him in recent months. "I've been really busy," she said. "I've been traveling a lot in the past couple of months, so we haven't really spoken." Sutton Stracke declines to say if Avi Gabay quit or was fired. Sutton suggested she no longer needed Avi's services as she was about to begin her empty nester chapter. "Well, I'm about to just live by myself in my house, so things have just evolved, and it's different now," she explained, without confirming if he quit or was fired. "Things had evolved," Sutton reiterated. "And he was always an independent contractor. We parted ways." Has Avi Gabay addressed his status with Sutton Stracke? Fans were introduced to Avi in the rhobh Season 13 premiere, when he was assisting Sutton at her West Hollywood boutique. "Avi is my assistant, but also house manager," she said in the October 25, 2023 episode. "Property manager, head of operations, my everything," Avi jokingly added, prompting Sutton to say, "Excuse you, sir, you're not on camera right now." Avi has yet to comment on his status with his former boss. However, his Instagram bio has since been changed from executive property manager for Real Housewife of Beverly Hills Sutton Stracke to simply executive property manager. The last champagne toast, West Hollywood whispers. The sun was glinting through the crystal chandeliers of the Sutton Concept, Sutton Stracke's boutique in West Hollywood. Everything was in its perfect place. The pastel caftans neatly folded, the antique silver trays polished to a shine, and the orchids, imported weekly from Ojai, blooming in impossibly delicate whites and pinks. But something felt off. There was no clip-clap of Gucci loafers echoing through the marble floors. No laughter spiraling through the showroom. No "Ms. Stracke, your 2 o'clock just arrived," and she brought a Maltese in a Louis Vuitton carrier. Avi Gabay was nowhere to be seen. For over 3 years, Avi had been more than Sutton's assistant. He was her gatekeeper, her confidant, her fixer of all things. He knew her moods better than her mirrors did. He could read her schedule, her facial expressions, and her taste in caviar with military precision. And Sutton, with her chaotic charm and old money elegance, had come to rely on him like she did her morning iced almond milk latte. But now, the boutique's silence spoke louder than any tabloid headline. Beverly Hills silence. The news broke, not in a formal press release, but in a carefully deflected comment on Jeff Lewis Live. Sutton, ever composed in public, had hesitated only slightly when asked, "Where's Avi?" "Oh, I'm going to imagine Avi's at home," she'd said with a practiced southern lilt and a smile that didn't quite reach her eyes. It wasn't a breakup, Sutton insisted. It was an evolution. But for those who'd been watching rhobh since Season 13, who'd seen Avi hand her Spanx during wardrobe crisis and organize her wine cellar alphabetically and by varietal, it felt like the end of an era. Theirs was a friendship forged in designer chaos, emotional emergencies, and the surreal world of reality TV. And now, Sutton hadn't spoken to him in months. A boutique divided. The change had started subtly. Avi began arriving later. His jokes were still sharp, but his eyes had lost their twinkle. There were moments, small, fleeting ones, when Sutton would ask for something, and Avi would pause just a second too long before responding. "She's shifting," he confided to a mutual friend over mezcal margaritas at Gracias Madre. "She's got this energy now, like she's bracing for something big. I can't quite read her anymore." Behind the scenes, Sutton was preparing for life as an empty nester. Her children were grown, the house in Bel Air was quieter. She was confronting loneliness the way only someone who never had to be alone truly could. Avi, meanwhile, had been offered other opportunities, discreet ones, discreet but tempting. He'd politely turned them down until one morning, standing at Sutton's marble kitchen island, he looked across at her and realized something startling. She didn't need him anymore. Worse, she didn't seem to notice. The incident. The final crack came on a cloudy Wednesday. Sutton was hosting a charity brunch, and everything was unraveling. The caterers were late. The ice sculpture of a swan, her idea, not his, was melting. And the Channel and Chardonnay backdrop had been printed in Helvetica instead of Bodoni. Sutton, mid-tantrum, looked at Avi and hissed, "Do you even care anymore?" The words hit him harder than he expected. For a second, time paused. Avi stared at her, his best friend, his boss, his chaos, and realized it wasn't just the backdrop that was off. It was everything. "I do," he said quietly, "but maybe not in the way you need me to." And he walked out, not with drama, but with grace. Flashbacks in Fendi. Their time together had been a whirlwind. Avi had helped her through her divorce, through the boutique launch, through feuds with castmates and passive-aggressive dinner parties filmed under harsh lighting. He defended her choices, even when they involved ceramic horse heads and overpriced moon water. They'd shared sushi in Tokyo, whispered gossip during Paris Fashion Week, and once, infamously, screamed at each other over the last pair of vintage Louboutins at an estate sale. But underneath the glam, Avi had always felt like he was part of Sutton's inner sanctum, a rare and strange kind of intimacy that came not just from proximity, but from trust. "I trust you more than my therapist," Sutton had once said, handing him a Fabergé egg to hide from a soon-to-arrive date. Now the egg was still in his apartment, wrapped in tissue, untouched. Sutton alone. In her Bel Air mansion, Sutton wandered through silence. She kept Avi's last to-do list pinned to the fridge. She told herself it was sentimental, but really, it was grounding. It still had things like remind Est to call dermatologist and pick up special gin from that weird British place. She poured herself a martini at 3 p.m. one day and wondered, not for the first time, if she should call him. But what would she say? She'd always been bad at vulnerability. That was Avi's role, to translate her emotions into actions. Without him, her house was just a museum of beautiful, lonely things. Avi, unattached. In a downtown loft filled with plants and mid-century furniture, Avi was finally sleeping again. His Instagram bio now read simply, Executive Property Manager. Clean, unattached. He hadn't deleted the photos with Sutton. He wasn't bitter. He was changed, grateful, even. Their years together had given him insight, thick skin, and stories worthy of a memoir. But most of all, they'd taught him when to leave. He'd received an offer from a high-profile artist in Malibu. Fewer screaming matches, more ocean views. It was tempting. Still, at night, he caught himself reaching for his phone, half expecting a "Where are my pink heels?" text. But silence, too, could be a form of love. The reunion. 6 months later, fate intervened, Hollywood style. At a gala for an art foundation, Sutton stood beneath a 12-foot kinetic sculpture, sipping champagne, feeling both overdressed and underconnected. Then she saw him. Avi, in black velvet and quiet confidence, talking to a curator. Their eyes met across the room. Neither moved at first. Then she smiled. He raised his glass. Later, outside on the valet curb, they spoke. I still have that Fabergé egg, he said. You can keep it, she replied. It suits your aesthetic. They both laughed. Silence followed, comfortable this time. I didn't know how to say goodbye, she admitted. You didn't have to, Avi said. Some chapters close themselves. Not the end. They didn't work together again, not in the same way. But Sutton sent him flowers when his mother fell ill. Avi mailed her a birthday card made of handmade paper from Kyoto. And once a month, like clockwork, they met for lunch at the Ivy. Just friends now, no longer bound by contracts or chaos. In the end, Sutton and Avi hadn't broken up. They'd grown up. And sometimes that's the most glamorous transformation of all. Evolution in Beverly Hills. The tabloids kept speculating. Fans kept theorizing. But Sutton and Avi knew the truth. Some relationships don't need labels or explanations. They simply evolve. And in a city built on reinvention, that might be the rarest storyline of all.